So far, the BJP has been doing its own Sangathan and government meetings. The RSS has been meeting. The opposition has been taking stock. They're building up to the 10 assembly by-polls. But what we haven't seen is the mood of the voters in Uttar Pradesh, which is why we commissioned C-Voter to do this poll for us. I want to take our viewers through the methodology used. So this is about 1,600 as the sample size done between the 29th and the 31st of July. And I want to tell our viewers that these responses are specifically from the state of Uttar Pradesh. These are CATI telephonic polls specifically done in Uttar Pradesh. And what they'll do really is give you a sense of how voters in Uttar Pradesh perceive the current situation in the state. So I'll take you through question number one. What do voters in Uttar Pradesh think is the reason for BJP's poor show in the UP Lok Sabha polls? Remember, poor relative to their high standards from the last two elections. And there are two things I want you to look at carefully. One is, what do NDA voters think? See, India voters in this case don't matter so much because these are largely questions to do with the BJP's performance. You can ignore this. Look at how NDA voters feel. Look at the total responses. So, coming up right on top is BJP's overconfidence, with 21% of the overall respondents saying this is the reason for the BJP not doing well. Being unaware of ground reality is 14.4%. Fielding the wrong candidates is 22.2% of the overall responses. And if you look within the BJP supporters, 30% of the respondents think that because the party fielded the wrong candidates, they did not do well. Harping on Hindutva or discontent among party workers are not seen as key reasons behind the BJP's poor show in the UP Lok Sabha polls. I want to come to the second question. This is the reason for the BJP's poor show. Now, who's responsible? Who should take responsibility for the BJP's performance in Uttar Pradesh during the Lok Sabha elections? The state government is the answer of 28% of the overall respondents. Central leadership is the response of 22% of the overall respondents. Party organization is about 19%. About 19% say all of the above. So this is now a very mixed bag. If you see, even among NDA respondents, they're not sure who to blame. It's kind of split equally, virtually equally, between the state leadership, the central leadership, and party organization. Which of these damaged the BJP the most in Uttar Pradesh? Let's come to the third question on the political stock exchange this week. Fascinating respondents. 49% of the overall respondents say unemployment and price rise damaged the BJP the most. Even among NDA voters, 36% say it's unemployment and price rise that damaged the BJP the most. 30% say it's the charge of Constitution Badal Denge which damaged the BJP, and 23% of the overall respondents. So, unemployment and price rise, 49%, and 23% say Constitution being changed, that charge by the opposition, damaged the BJP the most. Now I come to the next question. On your screen right now, what led to the BJP's loss in Ayodhya? What led to the BJP's loss in Ayodhya? 24% of the respondents say it's Akhilesh's caste strategy. 26% say it's resentment amongst locals. Alienation of OBCs and Dalits is 28%. So that's on the question of Ayodhya. I want to take a few questions and then introduce you to our guests joining us for this broadcast. I want to come now to that one question which is being spoken of very often in hushed tones inside and outside. This is the question about, is there an attempt being made at this time within the BJP to replace Maharaj Yogi Adityanath? Now remember, the BJP denies this formally, but it's discussed. Whether it's Delhi, whether it's Lucknow, any part of Uttar Pradesh, this is discussed quite widely. So we just threw this question out there to see what do people think. Now here are the respondents. 42% say yes, there is an attempt to replace Yogi Adityanath as CM. 29% say yes, there are discussions but no active attempt. 20% of the overall respondents say no, there is no attempt at all. 36% of NDA voters say there is an attempt to replace Yogi Adityanath. 32% say there are discussions but no active attempts. So Now, this is very important. As I said earlier, what India voters think on this question don't matter, because in any case, they're not going to vote for Yogi or the BJP. But amongst overall respondents, 42%, a pretty big number, say yes, there seems to be an attempt. 29% saying there are discussions, but no active attempt yet. So that sets up this conversation. Allow me to introduce to you Ajay Alok from the Bharatiya Janata Party in our studios. With us also Ghanshyam Tiwari from the Samajwadi Party. Ghanshyam ji, welcome. For perspective from outside, we have Amitabh Tiwari, political analyst. Sharad Pradhan joins us, long-time watcher of Uttar Pradesh politics. Rajat Sethi is with us. And the man who's pulling all these strings at the back, Yashwant Deshmukh from the United States, the lead cephalogist of Sea Voter. I want to ask Yashwant Deshmukh first. On the responses that I've put out so far, what I find interesting is, despite the BJP denying as emphatically as is possible that there is no attempt to replace Yogi Adityanath, despite that 42% of the respondents ko lag raha hai kuch dal mein kala hai, there's some attempt being made to replace Yogi Adityanath. What do you make of the first set of responses? Yashwant Deshmukh.
Well, one thing is very clear, Rahul, that people are understanding politics just the way the politics is being played out. And it's like politicians or the political class thinking that they are playing something which people are not very aware of. So I think they are pretty much aware of, and they are not just telling that they are aware of, but they are also dissecting the causes of the shock results of Uttar Pradesh in a much more precise and mathematical way than many of the political scientists and editors can do. One thing which stood out very clearly for me in that data was one of the reasons that people said was the wrong selection of candidate that got the maximum numbers of Uttar Pradesh, followed by the overconfidence, which actually was an extension of the reason number one, Rahul.
So let me put that to Ajay Alok, because 4 in 10 respondents thinking that your government might choose to change its chief minister, that's problematic, whether it happens or not, because unlike say a UPA government or an unstable state government, the Yogi government, the Modi government have been seen as being very strong, damdar governments. All this that is going on at this moment, is it now for the first time creating a semblance of uncertainty, where even BJP supporters seem to reflect that uncertainty? They don't know what's going on. They think, are they going to change Yogi Adityanath?
Rahul, if you analyze the Lok Sabha elections, yes, I do agree that we were not able to counter the narrative which was set by the opposition, like Arvind Kejriwal coming up and saying, "Ye 2 mahine mein Yogi ko badal denge." That narrative was again strengthened by the various opposition parties. Then the second narrative, ye आरक्षण खत्म कर देंगे, ये संविधान बदल देंगे, इसलिए 400 चाहिए. Definitely, as a party, and we have realized that we were not able to counter those narratives on the ground.
Is it that simple? Because usually there is no smoke without fire. No matter what Akhilesh Yadav or Rahul Gandhi say, unless voters in Uttar Pradesh are willing to believe, because of what they see, they suspect that something is going on. Only then will they believe that narrative, otherwise they'll dismiss it outright. The opposition has said so much about your government in the past, nobody believed it.
Yes, that's what today in the Vidhan Sabha, Yogi ji said it very clearly. He quoted Panchtantra and he narrated a story of a Bakri and a Kutta and about the 4 thieves who robbed a common man. So, what happens with the narrative, that if it becomes a perception, then it's a problematic.
No, why is it becoming a perception?
That's what this became perception during Lok Sabha polls after the 3rd or 4th phase.
Because Kejriwal said that's why
Kejriwal said, and then multiple things, other things happening. Then ये संविधान बदल देंगे, इसलिए इनको 400 पार चाहिए, संविधान खत्म कर देंगे, आरक्षण खत्म कर देंगे.
No, but you were the master of the narrative. How is the narrative slipping out of your control?
I fully realize that this is the reason, and most of our leaders have acknowledged it. That this is the reason. This is the counter narrative.
No, but isn't there a larger problem here that the BJP for the past 10 years was master of the narrative? You could spin whichever narrative you want. Your leader said, "हम तो जो चाहते हैं वो बोलते हैं, लोग मान लेते हैं." Now people don't seem to be believing what you're saying.
The problem is the narrative of truth. It takes time to spread. And narrative of false and lies, it spreads like a fire. And that's why they got the result. But like Yogi ji said, काट की हांडी बार-बार नहीं चढ़ती है. अब
so
1 लाख आ गए ना अकाउंट में खटाखट, and 27 में होगा सपाचट. We are the party who learns from its own mistake. We are learning for our own mistake. What
now,
we did.
Ghanshyam Tewari, this is the BJP's hope that this game of constitution khatre mein hai, they'll change the constitution, play only once. It's like a ace of cards. You've played it out, it won't play again and again, and you've exhausted that ammunition. That's their hope. Okay, that you build this narrative, but you can't, with the same trick, convince the same people again.
Well, one is that the saga is not over for BJP. This is India Today recent edition, 31st July, and its title is, I have the Hindi version, that says, "Pehle aapas mein to lad lein." It quotes all the BJP leaders, including a leader who puts his 42 years of career in BJP on the line, and he says that he has not seen such a corrupt administration ever. People are looking at this.
No, आपके भी तो बहुत लड़ते थे. You had 5.5 chief ministers. They were constantly daggers drawn. So it's not new. I mean, BJP is now becoming a bit like other parties.
We are talking about today. One second.
But you were always like this.
My first sentence. We are talking about today. India today. We are talking about 2027. One, people see BJP as a casteist party focused on certain castes. They are non-committal. In fact, they go to the extent that they will abuse people who talk about caste census in the parliament. Choicest abusers. So the issues are not going away for BJP. The dysfunction of governance in Uttar Pradesh, when you have failures in Ayodhya, when you have failures with respect to paper leak, the charges land on Yogi Adityanath ji as well as his entire leadership, and that leadership is in disarray. That's point number one. Point number two is that people believe that there's
no, but where is that? You are trying to project that the leadership is in disarray. The BJP at the highest levels has communicated to the chief minister that there is no plan, that he has to go out, do what he has to win the assembly by polls.
Yesterday he said कि मैं प्रतिष्ठा चाहिए होगी मत चले जाऊंगा. The chief minister said
that's not what he said. He said there is more pratishtha, there's more prestige in being in the mud.
I mean, think about it. There are people, largest state of India. The chief minister stands up and says प्रतिष्ठा चाहिए होगी मत चले जाऊंगा. The deputy chief minister says कि सरकार से बड़ा संगठन होता है. Boss, you don't want to solve the state, go to the butt. Who's stopping you? अगर आपको संगठन है, you're deputy chief minister, the state is in disarray, you cannot conduct exams, you cannot fix infrastructure, there is flooding, and what are you saying? One person wants to go to the mud as a leader, and the other person wants to say that I want to go to sangathan, and at the top level you wanted to speak about double engine. You look at the double engine, when Yogi Adityanath does not even say namaste to the Prime Minister, to Amit Shah. The fire is out in the open, but we are not talking about the fire specifically.
No, but this fight between the supposed fight between the UP CM and the Deputy CM, you're trying very hard to deny that there is something amiss. But now the UP CM passes the bill in the UP Assembly. When it comes to the Legislative Council, his own leaders, before that they decide that this is problematic, let's oppose it, and it gets sent to a select committee. Now, if this had happened in the UP, you'll say left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing. How is this happening to the almighty BJP?
No.
That your chief minister brings a bill, gets passed in the assembly, which your own leaders later oppose?
Let me clarify this, because you, Aastak and India Today both ran this story yesterday for quite a long period of time. This Nejul bill was passed in UP Assembly.
Correct.
What got to UP Vidhan Parishad, and with the consent of Chief Minister, when many MLAs met Chief Minister, this bill was sent to the select committee.
True, I know that. I understand. But sir, there is a problem there.
There's no friction. Now, this is the narrative what is being tried to set.
Let me just explain this. If what Ajay Alok is saying is correct, the way to do it is that you speak to your MLAs, your ministers, before you bring a bill to the assembly. You discuss with them, then you bring the bill. Here they've already bought the bill, they've made the bill go through the House, later realizing that members of their own party don't like this bill, and they come out and oppose. The time for deliberation and building a consensus is before your party and government brings a bill to the House, sir.
You are right. I agree to it. But most of the problem is, like if you bill a bill, and if you view the bill, like 255 members of BJP, and with our allies we are effectively somewhere around 280. Now, that bill cannot be discussed in length with 280 MLAs. Now, when the bill is
but
presented
these are your
in the House,
most prominent leaders.
When the bill is
the likes of your state party president, your deputy chief minister and the others, and even the other MLAs who opposed it, are amongst your most prominent leaders. Apne leader se to baat kar lo bill aane se pehle.
They didn't oppose it. They amended some suggestions in the bill, which was duly sent to the select committee.
So
for
they came and said this will become like the land acquisition bill. It will become problematic.
No.
The opposition will say, "Hamari land le rahe."
This is what we call narrative setting. This is what we call narrative setting. Here is the government who has passed the bill in the UP Assembly.
Why didn't they talk to their own MLAs before that?
Here is the same government who wants to reconsider it, so that bill is being stopped in Vidhan Parishad.
So why didn't they talk to their own MLAs before bringing the bill?
In the state.
You're not answering my question.
I'm coming one by one. In the state, nothing can be done without the consent of Chief Minister. Now, when you say the Deputy CM is fighting with CM, it's not possible. Deputy CM is Deputy CM because the CM wants them to be Deputy CM.
So here's the simple question, and I want to.
Yes, it's not formed by anyone else.
Just as a icebreaker in this discussion, अनुप्रिया पटेल यानी कोर्ट आज तक ने एक्स पर लिखा कि इसे तत्काल वापस लिया जाना चाहिए और ऐसे अधिकारियों के खिलाफ सख्त कार्रवाई की जाए जिन्होंने इस विधेयक को लेकर सरकार को गुमराह किया.
And Sanjay Nishad said the same. Both of these are your allies.
Central Minister is saying ally is saying that the government has been misled. Not that she's furious. She's saying that those officers who misled the government you should take action on that.
So they should be happy about it.
This is a
They should be happy about it.
No,
the government
so what is Ajay Alok? What is there to be happy about? In your government, two allies who are important for your vote bank are criticizing you constantly. Now look at what he's saying. It's not so innocent. If the ally is saying, who are the bureaucrats who misled the government? I mean, the hidden text is, are government ministers so stupid that they can't apply their own mind that the bureaucrats will come and mislead them? It's a very straight barb at your top leadership in Uttar Pradesh.
See, if the Chief Minister is being informed about the various aspects of the bill which is not acceptable to the allies or for his own party members, then there should be a discussion and there should be a suitable consideration. That's why this bill was stopped in Vidhan Parishad. It is done with the consent of the Chief Minister. I don't know how you're finding fire to it. There's no fire, absolutely.
No, the fire is because there was no discussion before the bill was brought. 5-7 years
That's
ago,
what I'm telling you.
This would have gone through.
No.
It would have gone through.
That's what I'm
the
telling
allies would not have, they would have done bulbul amongst themselves. They wouldn't have had the courage to speak in public. Now they're speaking against you. They're tweeting about it. They're commenting. They're doing tic-tacs. There's a real problem you have on your hands, sir.
See, when monsoon comes, the frog starts making noise. Let's not worry about them. And these SP and all, they are like frogs. Everybody's
Your allies are frogs?
No,
Ghanshyam Tiwari is a frog.
What they are trying to do, they are trying to put fuel into the fire where there is no fire. They are wasting their fuel. Somebody saying, I'm coming with the monsoon offer. Somebody saying, 100 lao, sarkar banao.